did my thing with the Chronicles of Gamers. We got in. We got approved right away, like in less than a day later, we got approved. And then when we went up there, I got unapproved because apparently they were saying like, I forgot what the fuck they said. It was some weird shit that they said. And then I ended up showing the notification and all that stuff and the emails. And I was like, yeah, I got approved. And then they were like, all right, so we got it. But it was pretty much, the second year when I applied, on the website. So we'll go back to the website for E3, because I have a little problem with E3 itself, but I have it more on the aspect of the whole numbers thing, because I feel like that's just a horrible way for a lot of like. So I'm part of the industry, but I'm not part of the industry. Let's put it that way. Like, I feel like all those that talk about games and critique games, they're part of the industry, but they're not part of the industry. Like, we don't make games. We're not creating games. We're not creating any music for games. Like, we're not doing none of that. We're just getting games and we're just stating our opinions, or we'll talk about our opinions for the game, and then that be that. And then people can make the judgments based off of, how people communicate and talk about games. That's why I say, like, it's part of the industry, but not part of the industry. So E3 back in 2015, I believe, or 2016, when we went, it was a little bit more lenient in letting people get in, because it was like you had to be with IGDA, which I was a part of anyways, because that's how I was mostly communicating and getting to know people, and I was using that as not marketing, but like, just getting to meet people and talk to them and getting to feel the industry and, doing all that stuff. Then you have to have a website. Then you have to show that you were creating content, and you have to have the email, which I thought was interesting. And they almost denied me because of the email thing, which Gamer Composer had. But it wasn't as serious as Gamer Composer, who literally had the full list of everything else, but he didn't have an email. And then I almost got disapproved because of my email. The next year when I tried to submit it, I got disapproved for the email, and then they said I didn't have enough views. Or not enough. No, let me rephrase that. I had the views. I didn't have enough subscribers. So as you know, with the Chronicles Gamers, we don't have like a lot of subscribers, and I can understand that, because I focus more now on the mailing portion, where it's like I try to get people's emails, and then I just send notifications that way. And then because of that, most people just don't subscribe because they're like, well, we get the mails anyway. And I've had a few people tell me that, where it's just like they don't follow, but they still follow. And I'm like, okay, well, that's fine, I guess. I can't really knock that, because I'm like, well, I'm trying to create my own thing anyways. But the whole aspect of the numbers thing. So at that time, they were saying like, oh, you needed to have, what was it, like 10,000 views and 1,000 subscribers on YouTube, and then you have to have like 100,000 views and 10,000 subscribers on Twitch. And I was like, what the fuck? And this is before the Twitch affiliation and all that stuff had finally started. Like, this was back when Twitch really, really focused on only the partners. Like, it didn't care about anybody else besides partners. So any partner, they got put on the front page. Anyone, like, that's just how it was in Twitch days. So, but it was just crazy, because I got into an argument saying like, well, we do make constant updates and constant content, and I noticed through their numbers that there are, because of that loophole, a lot of other people have gotten in who don't make as, who weren't doing like constant updates, but they just had a lot of subscribers and a lot of views, because some would take videos from other people, or they'll probably take like a little bit of stuff and then maybe do like a few minutes. It's just like it's a weird situation on how it did it, and it was like the numbers didn't really represent how a lot of people, especially those who create content, could easily get in and just do stuff. So, like, for example, I was mostly at E3. I believe it was it 2016 or 2017 that I was there, Gamer Composer, because it was like the second year that I came back.
Well, let's see. It must have been, you came out for 2016. I was still living Moore Park.
Yeah, you're still living in Moore Park. But then I
And
came back the next year.
you came out for 2017.
Okay, so it was
But
27.
but I had already moved.
Yeah. Okay. Yes, that was, well, yeah. His first
Yeah.
year was that. Then the second year. Yep. Okay, now I remember. And then the year after that, you also. And then I came back to that place. Like, okay, yeah. All right. So either
You
way,
came out for PSX. You missed PS3. You missed E3 2017, and you missed it last year
I know I missed. Okay, so I
because
missed.
there was no PSX last year.
Okay,
you
so
did
that was 2016 that I came out because I came out 2015 and I came out 2016 again.
right,
And
but
then,
yes, that makes sense because I think my friend got married in 2016. You were living here. I was living in Moore Park, but before you came, what was your first time? Because I remember you were like, "Oh, I'm back in LA." So you've only been out here twice.
in LA? No, I was. That's 3 times.
3 times?
Yeah.
Okay.
It was 2015, 2016, 20.
Oh yeah, 3 times.
17.
But you're 2017. That was your third time. Yeah, third time because of your PSX. So yeah, 3
Exactly.
times.
So 2016, I came back out there again, and I got once again the same thing happened where I got approved, but then they disapproved me because they said it was the numbers. I had everything else. I had the credentials, I had the website, I was making constant updates. Everything was just consistent. It was just they said like you just didn't have the numbers, and then I thought that was very interesting because I asked for clarification on that, and I even told them what I was mostly there for. So I was only there for a few games, a few fighting games of like 1 or 2 RPGs, and it was pretty much everything we had talked about in earlier episodes and stuff. And they disapproved me because they said I didn't have a lot of the numbers. And I tried to tell them that, especially in the email, same thing too, that we're more of a niche audience, and that's just how we are. So we're not going to be the most, so because we're niche, not everybody is going to like our content. Maybe some people do like our content, but they're not going to be like, oh, I don't need to follow them for constantly getting this, and we weren't really in the popular space at that time. So then they tried to get on me with the numbers and stuff, and I said like, well, I found that very interesting because there were some other people who had came in to E3 and they have content and stuff where they really don't even do much. I don't want to put them out there, but I know one person who literally just takes a bunch of game trailers and stuff and they repost them on their website, and people come and watch and view them, and he's got like, well, I don't know if it's he or she, but they had like high numbers, and this person, this person managed to get in, and I found that very interesting because it's like, so you only care about the numbers and stuff when you don't care about the quality of content, and I thought that was very disappointing because I was like, that's a horrible way to do things because not everybody is going to create content that everyone's going to like. They're only going to create content that maybe some people will like, and so like for me as a niche person. Because I only want to talk about the things that I really want to talk about. I don't want to talk about the things that will just give me the most views and the most likes and give me the most subscribers. Like, that's not how I like to do things. So I had to get into an argument with them, and to the point where it was just like they just didn't want to do it. And then I had to hop on the Gamer Composers badge. And I was very upset with that because that got into an argument of like, well, it doesn't seem like you guys are really paying attention to the content. You're only paying attention to the numbers. And if you're only going to pay attention to the numbers, then I could easily just do what everybody else is doing on YouTube and Twitch and just take other people's shit and repost it on my thing. And then just, that's what I'm saying, Gamer Composer.
Don't forget paid clicks.
Yo, that's what I'm saying. And I found that very disappointing. So I got into an argument with them saying like, so you're just going to allow people with just high numbers? You don't really care about the quality of content? Because when I was there and I managed to get in with Gamer Composer, so like, for example, I covered Street Fighter V and I went to play the new demo of Street Fighter V Arcade Edition. So this is the update where a lot of characters got changed. And I said I was mostly there to try Ryu. I wanted to see what the mule kick was going to do. I wanted to see how Ryu's Ultra 1 was going to be. Because Ultra 1 was like, it went down very fast by using fireballs, and I was mostly there to try out Ultra 2. So I had a fucking YouTube video, and I covered that. That's got like over 20,000 views at that point. But those views mostly became because people who were Ryu players were interested in knowing what the fuck Ryu can do, People were on there to ask me questions on what the fuck Ryu could actually do. People asked me, was Ultra 2 really that good? And I was honest with people. I said, no, Ultra 2 to me wasn't that great. But it was just like, you see what I mean when I say niche? Very niche. People came to me with that specific character, and I answered those questions. People emailed me those same things, and I answered those questions. I wasn't there to cover at that time Destiny or the new fucking Call of Duty or fucking Monster Hunter, but I did get Monster Hunter anyways. I was there to mostly I covered Street Fighter 5, and when people asked me those questions, I gave them answers, and I showed shit. I was like, yo, Ryu's DP is slightly better now. You can actually use this as anti-air. Oh, you can actually use Fierce as anti-air DP. Like, I was doing all that shit. And like, yo, like, Stand Light Kick wasn't as good as it is, but it's like still a little bit better now. But you see what I mean? And that's pretty much what I told them in the email. And I feel like that pissed me the fuck off that I couldn't get in because they said you just had to have the numbers. And that's pretty much how E3 is now. It's numbers. So for people who create content like me and who aren't really following the standard tradition of, let me talk about the most current thing to get the most fucking clicks and shit like that. I don't like doing that. You know I don't like doing that. For those who've been following this fucking channel for this long, I hate that shit. And it pisses me the fuck off that I have to do that song and dance to get in now. So then I said, fuck it. I will now willing to try just to go on through the casual way. But the casual way is paying $250 fucking dollars, which to me is still insane because I don't even think E3 is worth $250, especially going to PSX. I went to PSX. And half the price of half the price of PSX to try the same, or actually some games that weren't even at E3 that were there. Lines were quicker, by the way. It was more organized. You could actually set a timer and alerts to when your time is to go to a booth. You can go to that booth, play the game, get the fuck out. And there was actually fun things to do, but I didn't do them at fucking PSX. And I said to myself, who the fuck would want to pay $250 to try some new games and shit when you can just wait to like PAX or fucking PSX and try that shit for half the price? Like, outside of that, there's no reason to go to fucking E3. So for me, who wanted to cover that, I was fucking pissed. I was like, numbers? 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 It ain't the quality of content. It's numbers. I said, fuck out of here, bruh. Fuck I was like, yo, fuck E3 for that. They hit me with the number shit.
Next year it's going to be comments. How many comments do you have?
E3, I mean, I respect E3 and the things that it's done in the past. I don't respect the fact as a content creator, it cares more about those type of numbers and things. And for you to correlate that high numbers means a person is doing something, that's not really the case. It's more of, and I feel like we're going to get to that point now because eventually people are going to start to realize, I don't know when it's going to be, but what a lot of people are starting to see, or at least a lot of people are starting to notice, as people with high numbers sometimes aren't really the ones really making the content. They're taking other people's content and repurposing that content. They might transform it a little bit, but it's still that other person's content. And they re-upload it on theirs. And it's just like, that's fine and all. But
is it fine?
No, it's not. I'll be honest with you. It's not. But I feel like for these type of industry events, when those people start to be like, hey, I want to go to this event and do this, and I got this number and this, and they're just like, okay, we'll let you in. And then you like, bro, so you're telling me the person that's just taking other people's shit and you can just let them in? That's it? And I say that on the YouTube. I leave Twitch alone because with Twitch, you do have to be out there, to do it. But now there are actually some Twitches where they'll make content and they'll just do reruns a lot. And people will follow them because of the past reruns. Or there's some, like, it's very rare and you really have to look for it. But there are Twitch streamers who take other Twitch streamers and restream. Or they'll do like what's that thing? Where it's just like you're restreaming another person's streamer at that same time, and people will follow you to follow them. So it's like piggybacking. It doesn't happen a lot, but that happens. And then there are people who've gotten like high numbers and stuff because they're restreaming another streamer, and then they'll come on, and that's it's just very weird. And then of course there's always the follow for follow things that most people be like, well, a lot of people don't support that, and it's just like no. Publicly, to save face, they don't support it. Secretly, they support it. And there are fucking bots and other shits that you can pay for to inflate your numbers and stuff. Like, when you really get into this shit as a content creator, there's a fucking huge rabbit hole. And it's just so fucked up at how so easy it is to just inflate your fucking numbers, to be able to just sneak into these events and not really have to fucking earn it. And I get so mad because it's just like, a lot of these people don't realize it. And there are people that do it. And they get in, and I get frustrated at that. And I'm just like, see, y'all haven't figured it out yet, but y'all want these numbers though. And I'm like, oh, because higher numbers mean that the person with the higher numbers, they'll be able to publicly showcase our shit and blah blah blah. But I'm like, yeah, you gonna have people that don't know how to play the game, and then you're gonna get frustrated like, why the fuck is this person here playing the game and they don't know how to fucking play the game? I remember I fucking did, what was it? It was the Lost Souls game that was at E3 2016, and I covered that. And I had people message me and stuff like that saying like, bro, there are a lot of people, like, there were some few big name YouTubers that were doing shit that I've never even seen you do. That's incredible. How did you do this with that button and all that button? And I'm like, oh, I did this and this. But it's just interesting that you get messages and stuff like that like, yo, you did something I've never seen before. And it's just like, well, of course it goes into like the quality of player. And it's like, we need to get to a point where you need to realize that not every gamer is the same, and even having the biggest, highest number gamer on fucking YouTube and Twitch cover your event doesn't mean that they're going to showcase the best of that thing. It's just like, they'll get you the numbers, but they're not really going to showcase your game. But it's whatever. I guess we haven't figured that shit out. I'm figuring that shit out, but that's because I'm like doing fucking reading a bunch of business books while also creating content and doing like business classes and shit, and it's alright. We haven't figured it out yet. Fuck E3. I'm not going this year. Gamer Composer is. I still am gonna cover it. I'm still gonna talk my shit.
I'm still gonna go as long as I'm gonna fight my way in. I live in Los Angeles, so I'm gonna take advantage.